Docking request accepted.
Good morning, New Eden. Today is September 15th, 2024, and this is the Federation Frontline Report. I'm your host, Frozen Fallout, and my co-host today is Nightflyer. How's it going, Nightflyer?
Hi, good morning, everybody, and thanks for joining the show. Any of you that are new to the game or new to faction warfare, I hope you can enjoy what we have to talk about today. We've got a very special guest stepping in, and he's going to tell us a little about his history and what he's been into in the game.
So yeah, Streamdrb, thank you for coming on to the show today. This is super awesome to have you on. Tell us, how did you get into EVE Online? What got you, into this insanity, and when was that?
Well, guys, first of all, thank you very much for having me here on the show. Absolutely fantastic. I was enjoying watching your stream earlier on. PvP fleet going out there. Like, I was chasing you guys down, trying to get some kills on you. But, it is what it is. How did I get into EVE Online? Loving the berry, bro. Loving it. So, actually, a really good way to start that story is with this berry right here. It's not Delmo. It's not Faction Warfare. It's not Garustus. It's the Royal Scots Dragoon Guards. It is a regiment that I spent a very long time in, and I love very, very much. Whilst in that regiment, I was able to know a lot of people. And one of those people came to my room one day, and he's like, "Hey, dude, check out this game." And that game was EVE Online. At that time, guys, it was a long, long time ago, like 14 years ago, something like that. And for me to download fucking EVE, am I allowed to swear on this?
Oh yeah, you can totally fucking swear.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
For me to download fucking EVE, I had to use a fucking dongle.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Back then, you didn't get like stage downloads where you could download a bit and then come back and then download another bit. No. You had to download it all. And the maximum download capacity I could get on that fucking dongle was like 5 gigabytes. But the game was 20 gigabytes or some shit. It's crazy, right? So I had to pay for the next fucking thing before the one that I was downloading finished. And you know how many times that didn't work?
Oh no,
I
man.
hated my life so.
Oh no.
And I was running it on an old laptop, a little red laptop that I have in the cupboard behind me, not behind me, but like through that door and another door. And I've had it fuck me, a long time, very long time. I think 2006, I got that laptop, thereabouts. And obviously nowadays, guys, to play EVE Online, we need a lot more than just a laptop. It has to be a gaming laptop dedicated for the game of EVE Online, or it has to be a PC.
You can tone down the graphics quite a bit. If you need to go potato mode, you can go potato mode.
Not with that one anymore. That one's done. It's done. So yeah, basically, Buddy came to my room and he's like, "Hey, dude, check out this game." And I was like, "Dude, I could totally kill you." That's my view. Like, he's like, "Yeah, it's a PvP game. You can do this. You fly around. You get guns." I'm like, "Yeah, I think I can kill you." And so we started the game, and the first kind of month, we'll say, was like most things, like the name of my corp, a learning curve. It's very, very tough. But the one thing about EVE Online that kind of kept me around and kept me burning and doing the things that I did was a community. So obviously that initial community was the guys from work, and one of them was called Darth Trumpet, really good friend of mine. And we still talk now, even after like many, many years of not being in the server.
What year was this when you started playing?
2012.
2012. Okay. Yep.
Yeah. And so he killed me a couple of times in my rookie ship, kind of showing off how advanced their 3 million skill points they had were. And I was just like, you guys are a bunch of dicks. You don't need to do that. You don't need to fucking take the piss out of it. So eventually, I left that corp, but one of the people that was in that corp was called Anki Trim. Really amazing person. Still speak to her now. She's from Europe, and she doesn't play EVE Online anymore for other reasons, which we will not get into. But she donated 5 million ISK to me as a new player, which is why when I'm doing my streams and stuff that I do now, I love giving stuff away.
Oh yeah.
Because that was one of the things that kept me in the game. Like that extra tiny bit of help made the game accessible in the early days. So that's what we did. We was with them. We did the things. They blew me up a couple times. I'm like, fuck off. I hate you guys. And we went our separate ways. I then joined a group called I think it was called the Black Guards back then. It was controlled by a guy called Cirque Sanatory, who was a ginger Canadian. Took me ages to find out he was ginger, but now I know, so I can pick on it. You know, it is what it is. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into the game, and then how I started my Eve journey pushing forward. So before I get into any of that other stuff, I'll let you guys go forward.
So when you first started Eve, you got into like the PvP mindset right away. What were you doing to like make cash in the very beginning?
I have never made cash.
Oh really? So
yeah, like I make cash when I'm streaming and stuff, but I don't make it to pay my subscriptions or any of that crap.
No, I mean I meant in like how to make ISK? Sorry, to.
Oh yeah, that's what I mean. So I've always just bought Plex, always.
Oh, okay.
And the reason I do that is quite simple. In EVE Online, if you have all the hours in the world, you can grind the game, you can go mine, you can go do Expo, you can go do this, you can go do that, you can join nullsec corps, you can do Diplo, you can do all these other wonderful things. And building up that ISK profile to pay your accounts, not easy. Like, it can be done, right? If you kind of get into it, grind it down, and you smash it, and you know what you're doing, yeah, it's easy enough to do. But to me, that's a grind.
Oh yeah, that's like the huge grind of the game is especially. Exactly. I would never encourage people to pay ISK in the beginning to make their account. I apologize.
Not a problem.
Excuse me. But I would say that in the beginning, it's definitely much more interesting to just play the game and not worry about making ISK. You know, like you can do things that make you a whole bunch of ISK, but you shouldn't be focusing in on that. ISK for ISK's sake is not anything in the game. You have to have a goal of like, what do you want to do in this game, and then you can that's where you have a money pit, you know, that you have, and then you have to find out a place to get your money, where you get your money from. I do have to say that I've definitely paid Plex in order to like help just fund some projects and stuff like that inside of the game. But I definitely do look at it a lot of the times of like, okay, so if I work for an hour, I like, how much Plex is that? You know, so if you're making like 20, 30, 40, 50, you know, like as you start like going up, it's like you'd have to make billions upon billions of ISK an hour in order to match my hourly just working at a job for a little bit and then just not going out. You know, if I spend $100 on Eve, if you look at it, it's not that bad comparatively to spending $100 to go out on a night of Eve or a night of you know, bar hopping and stuff like that you can easily spend like $100 on. And so making that comparison of, unless you're like really making a crazy amount of ISK per hour, you shouldn't really worry about that. And one of the things I like about faction warfare is that you can make a lot of money while looking for PvP actually. And that's something that really drew me and held me to faction warfare, was that it's the one thing I saw in Eve where it's like, oh, this actually makes you some money and you get PvP. Although skyhooks now are really, like, ESSs were okay, but like skyhooks look really sexy now for murder. Have you done any skyhook hunting at all?
We kind of went down and we had a look at a skyhook, but it's kind of like it's something that's out there that does a thing. There's a couple of guys here in chat are just saying the kind of things that they did when they were getting into the game and how they made the ISK and you know, finding out what the best way of going about it was. Moonwolf83, a really good friend of mine here, says, I like to say try out things find what you like. Once you start getting good at what you enjoy doing, ISK will come.
Yeah.
So for me, what I enjoy doing, which brings me back to like the skyhook stuff and that, yeah, it's cool, but for me it's a PvP thing. It's not an ISK making thing, right?
Right.
Everything for me is a fun per hour. So for like, I've spent a lot of money playing the game, and we won't get into exact numbers, but like for me, I want to be able to get in from work, jump on the computer, log into the game, go out in my ship, find somebody, and blow them the fuck up. Like, and like the last year and a half, it's been different. Like, I still want to blow people up, but we're also teaching people and showing them the ways of the game and how things go on and progress. And yeah, if I was to grind to make the ISK that I needed to do giveaways, or grind to make the ISK I needed to do subscriptions, it actually wouldn't be any fun for me. I like it for the community versus the grind. I love the community.
Yeah, the community in Eve is pretty epic. Like, that's the one thing that, and it's one thing that's really nice, is that it's all one, community technically, because we're all one server, right? And you have this setup of the one server allows for you to actually interact with all of Eve Online, but it also allows you to create like an easy group to come into. Like, so I don't know, I've a lot of times when I've played like other MMORPGs, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm on this server, and they're like, oh well, I'm on this server, and it's like I got half my friends over here, quarter of my friends over here, a tenth of my friends over here, and they're all like playing different. Eve Online you can just jump into and you can get somebody to join up with you. If you do a giveaway in Eve, it's really easy to just give shit away to people because you're all on the same server with each other. And then you also have access to all of the different groups that are out there, and they're all trying to make like a name for themselves, to a certain degree. We're all part of this giant epic story that is Eve Online, and that's something that's blown me away completely. So have you done anything in 0.0 or been part of any of the great wars that are going on? What are some of the like crazy things that you've been involved in when it comes to this story?
When it comes to like nullsec and stuff, like I was living in the south for a while, and I got when player-owned structures first come out, I bought myself a Fortizar from somebody else who's in the region. It was like 21 billion. It was my biggest ever expenditure, and I was like, oh my god, I have a structure. But getting rid of it was really tough. So I took a massive loss on that structure. Then, like, I've been in Goonswarm, I've been in Pandemic Horde, I've been in Brave Collective, I've been in a lot of the nullsec alliances. They're all fantastic, they're great people. And there's none of them that I would go back and be like, I fucking hate. Like, right. Most communities, like, for me, it's got to be fun. If it's not fun anymore, then I just peel off, I go do something else. The thing that I'm loving right now, like, cause I took a 2-year break for a very, distinct reason, which was real life. And when I come back, like, what I've done since I've come back is I've kind of, like, done projects. So, like, when you guys are like, oh, well, how do you make ISK? So for me, the projects is my thing. So it might be that we want to mine 1 billion ISK worth of ore. Yeah. So we're like, okay, so we set up a mining barges, we get up mining ore, we get up ice fields, we go do the research in the local regions. It might be that we want to get like 100 kills in one of the faction warfare groups. So like for me, faction warfare is like Ushra Khan with Mimitar Republic. And I got into that because when I initially looked into faction warfare, like I looked at Galmil, I joined like the Galmil militia, and it's quiet, like at that time, like 12 years ago, whatever, it was quiet. And there probably was a lot of people doing stuff, but because I was in the NPC version, like, the militia channels.
Right, so you're not directly in with any specific corporation or anything, but you're just in the general militia. And there was a lot more like independent like stuff going on in faction warfare back in the day, and even today there is a lot of that where you can't just get into any fleet. You have to be blue or inside the right corporation.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like, one thing that kind of I find difficult is, like, before I took my break, you could kind of buy capital ships. You could fly them quite easily. You could silo them into regions without massive costs of like 250 million per silo ship, and it kind of kept those bigger ships open to the wider community. And after they did the patch changes and they got rid of all that, the ore fields in nullsec, and they made them a lot smaller and all this kind of crap, and they built the prices up for capitals. Like, I had a Nyx before, I got rid of it, but they went from 21 billion ISK to 45 plus billion.
Yep.
Like, that's nuts. And it really does price out most of your Eve players from those ship types. And some people are like, yeah, but we need to do that because otherwise everybody's got capitals. But if you price them out, then your smaller alliances, your smaller corporations, they can't compete. In no way, shape, or form can they compete with the bigger, massive blocks that are out there. Like, it's already difficult to compete with them with numbers. If you can't, get the ships that you need to deploy, I think that's such a huge problem in EVE Online.
I believe much more in like a prosperity kind of setup, that like you need to have it so that, yeah, it's okay to have a lot of people having access to these ships and a lot of people wanting, and the big thing is make sure that they're usable. Just get them into outer space and get them blown up. Mm-hmm. That's my whole thing is get people into outer space, get them in ships that are, awesome to blow up and awesome to fly in. And so the more that we can do that, the easier and more accessible that is. There needs to be like, you can't just be like, okay, so as soon as you join up, here's a Nyx. Like everybody just gets a Nyx, like day one type thing. But like,
could be good though.
There is a certain, and there is already barriers to like everybody using a Nyx or you have to have a place to dock them at. You have to have a lot of skills that are put towards that character, and there is it is still, no matter what, it should be a hit to your wallet to fly these big things. But you're right. I mean, I got my Nyx and sold my Nyx around like the 16 billion ISK when they were like just the cheapest, easiest things to get. Flew it around, blew up a bunch of NPCs and had a lot of fun with it during the time that they were really great for NPC hunting. Like I could get 200 million ISK, every hour or so like that. Like it was easy to just make a little bit of money, throw something out on there. Welsh says that they spent a year building a Nyx. Yep, like that's they're major projects. They're interesting kind of ships and stuff like that, but I don't think that they need to be 45 billion ISK, and that it's not that big of an issue if people were using these ships more, and that it was out there, and that it was something that was much more common. And the thing is that the idea of making something scarce because it's really expensive is really dangerous kind of territory. You make it so that either, like, one thing is that they already were cheap, so there's a bunch of people who got them for super cheap and that have had them for years upon years upon years, and now like they're the only ones that have them at this point. Because it's so, you can't make them on your own at this point. You have to buy the already existing supply that's out there. But I do have to say that even if they were easily accessible, I probably still wouldn't be flying them because they're a pain in the ass. But carriers and dreads are also, something that I think should be much more out there, and something that you should be able to throw around a little bit more. Yeah. The changes that they made have definitely made some interesting kind of setups for what ships are now. Like carriers don't really have a place at all.
Actually,
but they've got the new.
I beg to differ. So carriers, like I just spent like 4 billion ISK, no 8 billion ISK, skilling my clay. Like I got board waiting, skilling my tune to get the carrier to do the bridging, same as what Titans can do with subcap ships, right? That are not Black Ops. So I have my Black Ops ships, so I'm a Black Ops pilots, Cynos, etc. But I also now have my Thanatos operating in my low-sec system that can bridge a low-sec, like small gang, cruiser fleets, that kind of thing, from point to point. And it actually allows you to utilize a different type of composition. So, like, say, for example, you wanted to take, like, a Talos gang and jump them into a region, smash structures. Like, you could silo that ship in with the Talos gang. You can avoid going through all the gates in low-sec. Like, you can warp the Thanatos off, you can cloak it up, and wait till the guys have finished the operation, warp them back to the ship, and then jump them back out. It's an amazing system, an amazing taxi ability. Like, and obviously with
but it costs you, like, you know,
4 billion ISK to buy and fit. It's crazy.
Well, just to have it you move around, though, is you putting a 250 million ISK, or you're spending 20 to 30 million ISK for the mobile Sino, so that you're guaranteed to lose out on that, or you do one that, you know, costs you possibly nothing, or 25 million. Also, the carrier in that situation is the only thing that it's useful for is the movement. Like, after that, you got to get it the fuck off, and you have to go dock it or cloak it somewhere. There's still, I think, improvements that can be done to the carrier to a certain degree, and it definitely is in a much better spot with that the new jump capability is super awesome. The ability for it to jump off caps and stuff like that is super awesome. The likelihood that you're going to ever have a extremely important jump that, like, you're going to be able to go in and grab some siege to dread and jump it off is going to be extremely rare, because a scram will stop you. And, like, so it's a fleet combat. Like, it's, you know, the carrier is coming in. We've got about 3 minutes to, like, 25 minutes if it's tie-dye, or an hour to, like, decide on what do we do about the carrier landing on all of our dreads. Maybe we should scram it. Okay, not a problem. But there are situations where there is that lone dread. You know, that's all that they got. They brought it in. They're just having fun with it, and now you just want to grab it and just move it 300 kilometers off, which is another weird one, because it's like 300, then you can just warp to it again. So why not 100, where that's the perfect sweet spot of where you can't warp off, but it's really far off.
One way you could utilize that is, say you're doing low-sec PvP, and you have your carrier docked to the station, and you know that there's a local group that are always showing off their revelations, and they're undocking them and being like, haha, we're hard as fuck, we can take you guys out, we got you on the gate camp. And so you know they're going to undock, right? And they know you've got stuff docked in the station. And nobody's used to this new mechanic yet. So you undock your carrier behind them, right? And then as you're undocked behind them, they're sitting there thinking they're safe. And you activate the micro jump drive.
Nope,
so that and jumps them off station.
There are some cool tricks.
You counter drop and you get their fucking shit done, you know. Like, I think it's got potential, but it's still very, very... Like, I don't think it has anywhere near enough DPS. It doesn't have a great tank for the size of ship that it is. And, like, yes, like, the only things that are good for it right now is a suitcase thing where you can, like, either transport ships in it and drop it off somewhere else, or you can now Sino bridge a small fleet. Like, outside of that, like, normal carriers, like the ones that are for PvP, they're very limited. And it's a shame.
Yeah, so hopefully there's you know, reevaluation, you know, continuing on that, and they're not just done with them now that there's been a boost to them. But we'll see. But yeah, so in the beginning you kind of started off with you got right into PvP right away, right? And so you didn't get into any kind of money making opportunities. You said that you jumped around. So right away at the beginning, is that when you, like, started doing the jumping around to 0.0 and checking out the different organizations that are out there, or?
No. So when I first got into the game, like I said, I joined Blackguards. That was my first PvP group. And Circus Sanatori was high energy, like, he would lead by the front, go in. He'd be like, "Oh my God, guys, I'm tackled. Come in, save me, guys. Oh my God, I'm gonna need reps. So he's hyping up, it'd be crazy. He'd be like, "Oh my God. You get in there, you'd apply DPS, you kill the targets, and then you get out and you'd be like, "Oh my God, it was amazing." And it was like really hyped up. It was super cool. And sometimes you die, but as a general rule, like it was really fun. It was cheap to do, and it was fun to do. So we did that for quite a bit of time. And like once that kind of come to an end, I started joining groups like the Learning Curve, which is my current corporation. And within that element, let me just take this off. There we go. within that element, there we go. Guys, I'm bald. I'm sorry. Within that element.
I had to take mine off too. I still have a liner inside mine, so.
No, I don't have a liner anymore.
I'm starting to sweat. Yeah, I haven't.
Don't be uncomfortable. That's for sure.
It's just because the headset's pushing down on it. That's all. Yeah. So yeah, basically we got into that PvP mindset. We then switched from the Blackguards to like more kind of out and about small gang PvP group to the side, and we would kind of bounce around. And I can't remember too much about exactly what we did back then, but eventually we did a little bit of stuff in nullsec, and we come back up and kind of like just touching your toes, but nothing that really would stick in your mind. And then like the group I was in, the Learning Curve, they then decided that they wanted to join Marmi Collective. And I know a lot of people out there are like, "Oh my God, Marmi, I fucking hate that." But you know what?
Oh, and real quick, we just had Michael Starlight just gave us a 65 person raid. Thank you very much.
Oh my God, wow, fantastic.
Thank you, man. I hope you had a great stream. Those of you guys just joining us, thank you for the raid. We are having a 1 billion ISK giveaway at the end of the stream. I believe we're going to do a marbles race at the end of the stream for $1 billion.
Yep.
That's $1 billion with a B. That's a B.
1 billion ISK giveaway at the end of the stream.
And we are with Streamdrb, and he's been kind of just breaking down some of the stuff that what got him into Eve, which was a buddy that kind of lured you in with like the talk of PvP and getting in and just like smashing people, getting out with minimal losses, high value kills type kind of activity. So the Learning Curve get into 0.0, or were they mostly in high sec type stuff?
Oh, at the time they were mostly in high sec, and like with Marmi Collective, like it went from doing like small gang, like 4X's, Drakes, that kind of thing, to being very specialized. And so that was kind of like that transition phase from going from a little bit organized in the context of fleet movement and stuff, but ship-wise and stuff, it was kind of like you could have 2 million skill points or 50 million, but they would just get on with it. Whereas with Marmi Collective, you had to have a minimum requirement, you had to have like certain ships you could fly, you needed Logi, you needed all this kind of stuff, you wanted scouts. And obviously that progressed over the years to expand and improve and get more and more things involved. So I kind of progressed within Marmi Collective. I did a little bit of FCing with them, and like really good bunch of guys. Like Toro Bushido was a fantastic leader. Like he didn't step on your toes too much, but at the same time, like he would lead from the front, take fleets out, but also allow other people in the alliance and corporations to do their job, which is really cool. One thing that was kind of tough though within that environment was politics. And politics in EVE Online, whether it's alliance on alliance or corporation on corporation, it can be pretty sticky. And the egos.
Oh man, yeah.
Egos of players in EVE Online, when you think you're elitist, it's tough.
Oh yeah. Have you been to any like online or like real life meetups with your corporations or organizations?
I have not. The closest I'm going to be to that is when I go to London in November, and I will catch up with some of the other streamers that are there and some of the viewers.
Oh, cool! Yeah. So is that the London Eve Meetup, or I thought?
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yep.
I'm looking forward.
That's super cool. So that's going to be your first meetup that you've ever gone to, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. So I've been to like Eve. Well, we're going to Eve Vegas coming up here in October. We've been to Eve Fan Fest, and then there's been a bunch of like goops that have happened in my local area. So we've all gone to a bunch of different like meetups that have happened quite a bit in these areas, and I have to say that it is really crazy going to a meetup with especially like Eve London will probably have like a really solid, a large amount of people, and it just is like all these people play this game. I can talk to any of these people. This is crazy. Like we have like you're passionate enough to come to an Eve meetup. You're passionate enough to like talk. We just want to say something, you know, or hear what somebody has to say about something.
So I got some new T-shirts, like not T-shirts, but T-shirt made up. So I got this one made on Amazon, right? And I didn't realize it was going to be on both sides. So I got a little bit of Streamdrb going on there, and then I got it on the back as well. But as you can see, it's like it's really plain text. It's there. It kind of signifies who I am and what I do is the streaming and stuff. But it's not artistic. It's not like, oh my god, that's cool. It's kind of like, oh, you fucked that up, didn't you?
You know.
But I have got some new stuff made up. It's pretty cool. But it's just for me. It's not like merchandise or any of that stuff. Like I got a cap, and like when you look at my stream, you'll see like the Streamdrb logo at the top. So that cap has now got like the stream bit across here, and then the DRB just underneath. So like this, but with the actual graphics design of the stream.
There you go. Yep.
The graphics designer.
Eve Miner also wants to let you know that you need to put your cap back on as a Federation officer.
Oh, Eve Miner 1? Oh, give me a sec. Let me do that.
What kind of nerd gets his own merch made up and then you know, wears it on his stream and then...
All right, there we go.
Night Flyer. Yeah, look at that.
Since we're an officer, right? We gotta wear an officer's hat, right?
That's epic. Love it.
Eve Miner 01. So yeah, like where were we that I've now?
But so how did you end up getting into 0.0 in the end? Like and when was that you started dealing with 0.0?
Okay, so basically, once that politics started coming in. And
politics. That's where we were at. Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's a good kind of lead on from the politics. So the politics became a bit where it was kind of like, you know what, this isn't fun. Remember I said before that for me, playing the game, it has to be fun, right? And when you're playing it for like 12 years, you know, fun is really important.
Yes.
Especially when you're paying to play it, not grinding.
Yes.
So I kind of was like, you know what, like there's too many rules, too many restrictions. I'm gonna take a break from this. I'm gonna go to Brave Collective. So I went down to Nullsec and I joined Brave Collective. And guys, Brave are fucking brilliant. Without a doubt. Like back then, they had this policy within, like it was unwritten rule, if you will, of always take bait. And like I had a bit of PvP experience by that point, but I went down there. I spent a couple of billion ISK buying like hurricanes and stuff like that, and just, you know, fielding ships that were cheap but really good for base core PvP stuff. And you would undock in your ship, they'd have like 10 or 12 or 20 frigates burning after this kiting bullshit guy that was like, you can't catch me, and he'd be popping like 1, 2, 3 guys. They keep going. They keep going. They're like, we got him! We fucking got him! And then you warp in with the DPS and you're like, pow! And you blow him the fuck up. And they didn't care that they lost a couple of frigates. They did not give a fuck. And the people that came down, they didn't care that they lost their ship because they got a fight. They got to blow some people up. And that was some of the best shit ever. Where people they went to Brave Space to get a fight. Because they knew they would get it. They knew if they went to like GE Tech at the time. And like, they didn't come like OP, like well overpowered. And the guys would come out and they would just, you know, go for it. They would have a scrap. They would try. And at that time, like Brave was still relatively new, like not really new, but relatively new. And so a lot of their player bases, like, they weren't massive cap fleets. It wasn't massive, like, you know, battleship roams and stuff like that. A lot of it was sub-cap. And, you know, like, they did fucking brilliant. Like, their mentality of just wanting to play the game and have fun and blow shit up and not worry about losses was fantastic. So that was kind of my first introduction to nullsec, if you will. Like, we did a couple of other, like, small pieces and stuff where I would go down as like a junior FC or whatever. But yeah, like that was my first ever kind of big experience for a relatively large alliance, and I loved it. It was brilliant because there wasn't that many rules and restrictions. It was kind of going from rules for everything to not so many rules.
So during this time, were you more like on the ground, or were you doing any kind of leadership positions when you went into like nullsec, or even when you were you know, back in your high sec days?
Okay, so in high sec I did a lot of leadership stuff. In nullsec, predominantly I maybe do like a little bit of SCing, but as a general rule, like high sec I would do leadership, and nullsec I would just be a line member, doing stuff and enjoying the
Interesting.
game.
So you have like a good like kind of seeing it from both kind of sides of the you know, leadership versus being just a line member.
Oh yeah.
What do you prefer, being a line member or leadership position?
Like, obviously my own alliance's CEO, but that isn't like, it's not about being the boss or any of that crap. It's about being somebody that can go, yeah, no, that's not happening, because I have the experience to kind of say that's fucking idiotic. Like, no. Or you know, yeah, definitely we can do that. Let's make it happen. But as a general rule, like, my alliance that I'm in is just buddies. You know, so there's not the whole, you know, hierarchy thing, all that kind of thing. But back in the day, like in Marmi Collective, I was just like an FC, like a really basic FC, like a kind of, you know, secondary FC, if you will. And then after that, we switched, and we basically left Marmi Collective because of this too many rules things and ship restrictions and how many people you needed on grid before you tackle people, etc., etc. And so we left as a group, and at that time, the co-CEO, if you will, of Marmi Collective was a guy called Kip Duran. And like Kip Duran, like most egomaniacs, was a good friend of mine. Didn't like to say, like, let's negotiate. He liked to be like, no, we're fucking better than you, and we will fight anybody.
Right.
But like effectively, like we created an alliance. It was corporation was P45. So, you know, getting your notice. And the alliance was called the Complaints Department. Now the Complaints Department was fucking brilliant. Really good. It started off like there was a bit of teething issues at the very beginning with different directors that were the originators of the alliance, you know, backstabbing people and all that kind of stuff. And you're gonna get that. But as a general rule, like, that alliance did fucking brilliant for a startup alliance that wasn't already pre-existing. The amount of war decks we did, the amount of people we killed in a very short period of time was insane. Drink water. And like, that then obviously fall back into politics again. So at that point, I was the co-CEO of the alliance for the complaints department. Like, Kip Duran was the boss, and then I was kind of like the underling.
What was the
issue
main?
we had, though?
What was the main like concept behind the complaints department? What was your
It was high sec mercenary, wardecking, contracts, that kind of thing. So for me, like, when it comes to contracts, I'm very much a person that I say what I do. But at the same time, I've never been about just ISK. Like, obviously, as you guys are aware, I'm not into the game because I want ISK. I'm into the game because I want to play the game and have fun. But I have principles as well. And so there was times when we had a group that we were helping out. This was like before complaints department, but the same context. and it was the learning curve. Like, and the guy called Bruce Wolf, who was the original CEO, he had a contract with this mining group that we wouldn't war deck them, and we would help them out, and we would point them in the right direction with PvP problems. So they then kind of ended up where they requested help. We went in to assist, and we went above and beyond. We deployed into the region, we put alts into their corp, and we talked them through how they could avoid not so much getting war decked, but avoid getting too much attention that people want to war deck over and over and over again. Because they were in an industrial corp. Like, they were never going to be fighting the big fight.
Right.
And so, like, you know, like mitigating losses is the best you can really hope for at that. Unless you're wanting to pay billions and billions of ISK, and that's just stupid. You know. So we went in, we gave them some advice. We talked about, you know, if you're going to undock, like, use cheap ships, only fly what you can afford to use, keep an eye on local, like all the basic stuff that you need to really be paying attention. And like obviously, like intel, you know, keeping OPSEC. So then the guy, he started recruiting the guys that were killing him into his corp. Like, but they were still affiliated with their old corp. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? I'm like, these guys are literally coming in and getting free intel from me.
Right, yeah.
Why would you do that? Why the fuck would you do that, man? He's like, I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm doing. He's like, I got this. It's PsyOps. I used to be in the military, and I was in the PsyOps department, but I know what I'm doing. And so I'm like, okay, cool. You know what you're doing. I think you're an idiot. I said, so tell you what, I'm going to drop the corp. I'm going to drop my corp. I'm going to create a new corp, and I'm going to fucking war deck you. So I went to war with him, and it was simple. He was an absolute fucking idiot. He didn't listen to the advice he was being given. And instead of actually, like, taking what he was paying for, it was that whole egotistical thing of, I know better. And if you think you know better, then don't ask for fucking help. It's pretty simple. And whereas other CEOs before me would just be like, yep, no problem, dude, we'll just keep taking your risk. I'm like, no, you're wasting my time. And what's more important to me than ISK is my time.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
So I war decked him. And then I ended up having his wife and him, like, so we're both on Eve, in comms with me, begging me not to kill them. And it was kind of funny. You know, like, obviously not kill them in game, guys.
Right.
And, like, that saga kind of went on for quite a few years. Like, I still know they still play the game. I still know where they are. I'm watching them. But, like, I wish them all the very best. I genuinely do. Like, the game is a game, and it's here to be played, and it's here to be fun. The only reason I kind of kept that eye on them was because they joined a group in the game which was meant to be non-meta, and they took meta into it. Like, they basically played mind games within that game, and it was for veterans. And it was like, guys, don't fucking do that. You know, like, don't go into a group that's specifically set up for people with, you know, issues, and they want to talk about their stuff, and they want to be like, hey, man, want to have a conversation. Like, don't go in there and start fucking people over. You know, like, no.
Yeah.
It's unacceptable.
That's not cool.
So, like, I keep an eye on them, but I don't hunt them out. I like the alliance they're in, but I just don't like them. But yeah, like, politics is weird. You will get some people in politics that will just say yes, 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 and try to keep everybody happy. And you'll get other people that will say no, 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 no. They'll be so risk averse they don't want to do anything. Finding that balance and actually being good at what you do, it's tough. And so for me, like, one thing I found over time was, like, instead of worrying about everybody else, just create more alts. You know, like, so, like, the best politics for me is to command myself. And streaming allows me to do that tenfold. But also the community that comes with it. Like, all you guys that are watching right now, all you guys that have been watching my stream today, fucking brilliant community. Like, EVE Online people, the EVE Online community across the board, whether you're in Pandemic Horde, Goonswarm Federation, Blackguards, you know, Galanti, like Galmil, Amara Faction Warfare. Like, dude, I fucking love the Amara Faction Warfare guys, but I hate them all at the same time.
Right,
I need
yeah.
them to be there so I can blow them the fuck up. And like, but because of the tactics I use when I'm PvPing, which is like overwhelming DPS force with buffer tank, that only works so much before people then counter it and come in with different stuff, right?
Oh yeah,
and
for
they know
sure.
what you're going to come with, and then they'll avoid certain engagements and only go in for engagements.
And then when you're streaming it, there's a whole nother level of like intel that's being broadcast, and yeah. Real quick though, how did you get into streaming? When was your first time that you started really getting into streaming and feeling like this is something that you wanted to do?
Okay, so the first thing Call of Duty, and basically like I've been basically like I was at that break I took from Eve. The only connection I had to the game for that 2 years was through streams. So I would go on to Twitch when I was at work, on my breaks and stuff, and catch up with what's going on Eve Online. And I was trying to soak up as much information as I could because I love the game. I fucking love it to bits. And like there was this chick that was doing a stream. I can't remember her name, but she would do like an update on the war. Like this was like the second Green War because the first one was Monopoly War. And you guys asked if I was involved in that. We were, but as the mercenaries. But we can get back to that if you want.
Oh yeah, I want to hear about that for sure.
Like the way it kind of worked was I got interested in Twitch because I was watching Twitch, but the actual streaming part, like that wasn't really on the cards, and not in a serious way. It was like, oh, I can stream because I have a Twitch account. Oh, that's cool. And it was like, oh, I can stream on my phone. And so like I would be streaming like a little bit on the computer, just using like the basic programs for Call of Duty, but obviously not with any real professionalism. It was kind of like, I'm killing stuff. Oh my god, I'm dead. Like there was no structure. And then it was kind of like, okay, let's try streaming Genshin Impact and then streaming Eve Online. Now, obviously, Eve was my game. Like this game that I've always played, this game that I love, this game that I really enjoy. And so I have a lot of knowledge about Eve Online in a general context. Like I'm not a specialist in any means. Nobody is. This game is so complex that nobody fucking is a specialist. But it basically was a game that I could sit and I could talk about and feel that I had at least some backing to what I was saying. And so getting into it, like my moderator, if you will, at the time was a really good friend of mine called Steffies. And he kind of pointed me in the right direction, helped me get set up. And I started off as like a bee in the corner. And then I was kind of like a potato. Because I didn't want to show myself on camera. And as you guys can see, obviously that has changed.
Yeah, you're sexy, so that's good.
Thank you so much. I've been looking at your golden hair as well.
Yeah, I try, Beautiful.
Oh, I think you're about to get a follow from Moonwolf 13. 83. You guys get follower notifications, by the way?
Yes, yeah, we do.
Oh, so I got you muted, so I probably missed it. So yeah, like basically, it's just fucking crazy. Like, I've kind of lost my place a little bit here, guys.
So you were saying though that in a comparative of being like the line soldier or being the leadership position, I feel it's like you feel like politics kind of sucks in Eve.
It does.
It's really close to like the real world kind of level of politics. Like there's a reality of like bullshittery that's happening all the time, and people that are kind of running these massive organizations and making billions off of them. Some of them are reinvesting it into, and you have organizations that are like Karma Fleet and like the Pandemic Horde, and then like Brave Collective that are like, we just want to fucking throw a bunch of shit at something and have fun. And this is it's all about just throwing tons of ships at something, and let's just see what happens. And if we're winning, we're winning. If we lose, whatever. Just move forward type kind of thing. So why did you end up going into 0.0 when it sounds like you had like a pretty strong fun time that you were doing inside of these higher sec leadership kind of rules, but then also trying to get rid of the bullshittery that comes with politics.
So basically, obviously, like I said, I went down to Brave Collective, right? And that was kind of like a break period. I was still in Marmi Collective, and I went off down to Brave. And that was me kind of experiencing their way of doing things. And it was fucking so liberating. Like going from structure, politics, rules, to there's a guy in system, let's kill him. Like that was it. Like that was the only mentality. You didn't worry about all the other crap. You just worried about having a fight. And you could undock on a carrier or a fucking battleship or a frigate. It didn't matter.
Now bring my Drake.
Exactly. And so with Brave Collective, it was all about the fun. And then as the years went on, I joined different groups and stuff, lots of different alliances. I was in NC, I was in Goonswarm Federation, I was in Pandemic Horde, etc. The most organized nullsec alliance I was ever in was Goonswarm. A lot of people hate them. Now, the way that I've always played the game is I like to be the underdog. I don't want to be the guy that's, squaring up to you and being like, I want to kill 2 of your guys and I'll happily take a loss. But if I can take a tiny chunk out of the big guy, that to me is fucking awesome. But I'm also a great fan of understanding, you can't just sit there and be like, I fucking hit them because they're big. You have to know what they're all about. You have to go, you know what, actually, there's 17,000 people, 23,000 people that are in that alliance, they must be doing something right. And so, of course, you do kind of eventually go, you know what, let's go have a look,
Mm-hmm.
So, I kind of went over there open-minded, right? And what an amazing alliance. Their structure is second to none. Their bridging, for getting from point to point to point to point with their bridging networks is fucking amazing. Their markets are fucking insane. Their umbrella fleets are just fucking next level shit. And then their Black Ops stuff, and I don't mean Black Ops in the sense of Sins and Widows. I mean their covert ops, where they're MI6 guys that are out there fucking doing the behind the scenes fucking intel on other alliances is fucking next level. And there's only a couple of alliances in the game that do that kind of shit. And Goons, they do it so well. It's fucking unbelievable.
I was always really impressed with their IT infrastructure that they had. Their IT backbone that they had, was so well done. Solodraban, kind of leading up the charge on running, all of the voice comms and all of the forums and everything. And I was talking with one of my buddies when I got him into it, and he was like, yeah, this IT infrastructure that they have, is 3 times better than any county government's IT infrastructure that they have. This is crazy.
Pretty impressive.
Not that IT infrastructure in the government is very great at either, but I mean that's still impressive that they're way beyond. It's the structure of everything of how they build stuff. I've always been really impressed with. I would have to say that I had a lot of fun in 0.0 and a lot of the empire building stuff, even kind of looking in at a lot of the bigger politics of what was going on, because I got to hang out with and party with a lot of leadership kind of positions, which was really interesting. But I think that the fun per hour that you were talking about, the 0.0 brings a level of almost realism like to the universe. And that's, I mean, if you look at like Empires of Eve and most, like anything that's being talked about in most like media outlets and stuff like that, it's all about 0.0 in any kind of like bigger context of what's going on. But the fun per hour is not really there as much as it is in like NPSI fleets and being in low sec, I've found. And that's the reason why I ended up leaving it.
Yeah.
Why did you end up choosing low sec and like this, high sec kind of like area? Like, what do you do right now? Why have you come away from all the different avenues of space that you've learned about, and why are you at where you're at right now?
Okay. So obviously, like I'm streaming, so that has a big factor on what I do in game. I have a lot of accounts, and so I like them to be kind of structured, and I like them to be sort of in the same area. I don't like them to be spread out because what's the fucking you can utilize them together. Now, I still love PvP, so I get to do that as part of the streaming. And one thing that I've actually really enjoyed about streaming is that I've been learning new things about Eve. So like a lot of my Eve time was PvP based. It was going out, killing people, small gang, structured PvP. This last year and a half, actually, I've learned more about Eve Online in the last year and a half than I've known in the last 12 years. I've had a really good base core knowledge of the game, but this has been amazing. Like things like pod fence space. When I come back from my break, I'm like, not going there, fuck off, not gonna happen. I'm like, it's changed, it's different, it's not for me. Like abyssals, like I did try doing some of the bigger abyssals, but I got blown up so hard that they just sent me back. I think it's been next Jalember.
I also don't like the idea that my internet could, normally my internet's even pretty stable, but I just don't trust that at one point with a 5 billion-isk ship, that my internet won't go, hey, by the way, fuck you. And then just, that's the end. Like, that's the end of 5 billion-isk. Like, I'm sorry, but even if I can make an insane amount of money on it, like, the thing that'll happen is it'll happen way quicker than I want it to. If I've made 50 billion ISK off of it and it happens, I might not be so sad. But of course, the internet gods will look at me and be like, what are you trying to do? I don't know about this. You've got a really big hole in your idea of how to make money right now.
Yeah, so like with Abyssals, I tried kind of jumping into that, doing doing what people suggest when you start low level and then build your way up. But I'm just not great at that kind of stuff. Like I'm not great at grinding. Like I just don't do it. Like my brain doesn't compute that kind of shit. Like I'm very reactive in what I do. And so I kind of like.
Would you say that you're not even PvE oriented at all in this game? Like there's nothing really in the PvE that like. Have you done hacking and stuff like that at all?
Yeah, well, like we do Explo, we do mining, we do like I have 7 industrial tunes. I'm pretty good at Explo now. Like data relic sites, that kind of thing, combat exploration. Like we can do all of that, but none of it really kind of like screams at me and is like, oh my god, this is amazing. Like nothing compares to getting into 2 British Navy issues and fucking fighting it out and seeing whose hull is gonna fucking survive the longest.
Yeah. I agree. Absolutely.
Nothing compares better to that. Like
the heart pumping that you get in Eve, the thing, the handshakes, like it's real. Like, and even if you're not even, like some people, a comet is a lot of money to them. To me, it's not so much money, but it doesn't matter. I'm still heart pounding because I am in a comet versus comet fighter, comet versus a hookbill or any other kind of frigate kind of versus frigate, and it's awesome. And it's not that much on the line, but it is something on the line for both of us, and it is a very high level skill based combat that you're having all of a sudden.
So, like, a good example for that was at the start of my stream tonight, we did a little bit of Explo, and then we switched into PvP. And when we switched into PvP, we got into Tech 1 ship, frigate, which I called War, because it was part of a thing that I set up. And it was a Galanti frigate with, like, ancillary armor wrapper, really basic kind of setup. and it's a beautiful ship. And we went into Mimitar Faction Warfare space. We seen a destroyer and an Algos in the mission site. In fact, no, we seen a MOA first. The MOA ran away from us. And then we went into where the destroyer was. We fought the Algos, and it was close. It was like very close. Like I was in the structure, he was in the structure. Like we just got the kill. Like there was only 20 million ISK of stuff on the field. But it was fucking brilliant. Like the way I jump off my chair and I fucking like hit the fist into the sky. I'm like, yo, we fucking did it! Like that there, like it's not about how much you lose. Because like if you lose like a 10 billion spot, yeah, you're pissed. And you're like, oh my god, and you get depressed and you rage quit and you go fucking sit in your room and talk to yourself in the corner for 10 minutes. But like even if you're using 20 million ISK worth of stuff in a basic and you kill something bigger than you, regardless of what skill level they have, like, you're fucking ecstatic.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that part of that, like the EVE Online thing is, if you die in EVE Online, you lose your ship. You lose the modules, you lose the hull, you lose everything, it's gone. You then have to replace it. Nobody wants to lose anything. Nobody wants to lose a fight. Nobody wants to lose a ship, lose a module. Like if you play World of Warcraft, for example, you go into a PvP match and you walk out of it with all your stuff, your swords, your shields, your gear. You just go get healed up and you're good to go. Like, nah, boring. Like EVE Online, you jump in with British Navy issue 250 million ISK and you're like, god damn, let's go! And they've got reps and you don't, and you die and you're like, no, oh my god, you're depressed as shit. But it was an amazing fight, right? It's just, you know, what's going on here? Thanks.
We're trying to, so Nightflyer is trying to get Moon Wolf to come on to the show.
Actually, like, there's a really cool guy there. It says, question mark, why me, Welsh Bellboy is fucking brilliant. He's an Eve partner. And he's been streaming for a little bit less time than me, I think, but I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. But like, he's all about the community. He's like the opposite of me. Whereas I'm PvP, he's PvE.
Okay,
like,
yep.
He is like, you know, the other side of the coin. But I love him because he's all about the community. And the only thing I like more than PvP is the community. Which is why, like, I have an alliance with 11 structures for mining. You know, I don't give a fuck about mining. Like, I just don't want to be mining and have to recycle every 2 fucking seconds. So having moons means that I can just mine for a bit longer and not worry about too much bullshit. But yeah, if you're wanting to interview anybody, like, dude, hit that guy up. He's cool. Like. And he's wanted to do a cruiser fleet soon as well. Like he's slowly tiptoeing into the PvP world. He is the proverbial PvP virgin, but he's happy to try out new things and stuff. It's really cool. He loves his corporation. He looks after them 100%, and he works like a trooper. It's insane.
So when did you get into like faction warfare in this game? Okay,
so faction warfare, like I said, I tipped my toe with Galmil. Didn't seem very active, and so I ended up pushing towards Mimitar Faction Warfare. I got to know the guys from Ushrakan. I can't remember exactly when I kind of ended up there, but I think it was when I came back the second time from Brave. I decided to try out Faction Warfare. I think that's kind of in and around that time bracket. So I wanted to be back in high sec because of the market and the freedom of movement, but I'm not realizing that when you're in faction warfare, you're restricted. You can't go into a Mara and Kaldari space. But at that time, I was kind of like, hey, let's check it out. It was perfect for me. It was sites where you can go in, you can make some LP. It was small gang PvP, and it was a really active community with Ushrakan. I loved them to bits, and I still do. I think they're amazing. The only reason I haven't doing any faction warfare stuff right now, and I've maybe killed a couple of their guys recently, is that I'm a pirate and not a faction warfare guy.
Well, then you
And
get to have best of the both worlds if you're willing
Exactly.
to like. If you're looking for more targets, being a pirate is where it's at in any faction warfare zone.
so like basically I spent a lot of time back with Min Mill. I've never really done any time with Amar Militia. Like they're kind of like my arch enemy. I kind of hate them. Although like I said before, I respect them as well. Like I think they're amazing. And to be fair, like I don't know about now, but back in the day, Amar had a fantastic faction warfare, and they would come and go. They wouldn't be there constantly. They would disappear to nullsec for a bit, make some escape, they come back and they push the LP farms and that again. And like there was always really good fights, and it was kind of like stage where like like one set of 6 months, like Mimitar would be on their rise, they'd be pushing down on Amar. Then the next 6 months it'd be Amar coming back into the fray with more PvP corps and being like, okay, let's counter this, let's go in for it. And it was fucking brilliant. Like I always kind of thought like with Galmil and Caldari Mill, it was kind of like a bit one-sided. Maybe would be a good way to look at it. Like because Galanti Space was active but not super active, and like Caldari Mill, I kind of thought, you know, because you have Jita in Caldari Space, like this is just my thought process on it. It's not actually how it is, because you guys know way better than I do. But like they had so many more people wanting to be in Caldari Losec doing PvP because it's closer to where they can go to the market in Caldari Space. And so it kind of like was I personally think a massive negative effect for Galmo, because if you were going to join faction warfare and you were going to pick a side between Galmo and Caldari Mill, people were more likely to push for Galmo. And like,
well, yeah, I would say that one of the big things with Calmill versus Galmill is that's really interesting, because I've been in it since basically day one of faction warfare. As soon as faction warfare came out, I was like, dudes, like, let's get a corporation going for this. We already had a high spec, low sec corporation that we were, living out of Hain. We had owned the Pocos there, and we had been put up like station or like passes up and stuff like that, and before upwell structures, and we had been doing pretty well for ourselves. So I built like this faction warfare Mecha Enterprises fleet that we went out and started doing stuff. But my big thing that I kind of noticed with Calmill versus Galmill is that Calmill has definitely always had the advantage. Mm-hmm. They've always had more people and more farmers. But the farmer community is what has dictated most of the existence of faction warfare until recently. Like the whole idea of what would happen back in the day is that no matter what system that they built around this idea that if you had more space, you were doing better. The whole idea behind it is that the farmers would push one. Usually, you would start with Calmill because it's easier, because they're bigger. Because they have access to Jita and stuff, so they would just push in and be like, okay, we took over the whole war zone. Okay, now things are not, just because we're winning doesn't mean that, like, because the market comes in and starts saying, well, okay, you're flooding the market with all of this Calmill shit, so it's, if you're doing that, then you're going to have a lower amount of return per LP that you're going to have on that. So the farmers looked over and said, oh, Galmill, it's hard to get their items because they're not winning the war zone. Let's have them win the war zone. And so the first swung began, and it never stopped. It was just a back and forth. Whoever, was whatever system that they put out there, if it had to deal with this idea of like in the beginning, one of the things that they had was it lowered the price on the LP store. So imagine if you go in and you could get like a battleship blueprint for like 1,000 LP instead of 100,000 LP. Well, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was insane. Like it lowered the LP cost of the item. So you would get to tier, and you had to do this through like pumping a bunch of LP into systems that you owned. So you'd conquer the entire battlefield. Just that alone would maybe make you up to like tier 2, and then you try to get to tier 5 by like pushing all of this LP for 45 minutes. We're going to have tier 5 for a day we'll have tier 4, but tier 5 is what you wanted because you got like this huge massive discount on it. And so like it was just back and forth. Recently though, I think that things have kind of changed up so that it's not so dictated by farmers anymore. And what you are seeing is that the Cal Mill definitely own more space than us, but the battle lines have been drawn. It's Aldernett and Nenemelia, Vivalier, you know, and it's Hadeles, Fleet, Nissawa, Devon, you know, like Sugerento. These are where the battles are. This is where they're going to be. This is where people are going to stage out of their thing. And because owning the war zone doesn't matter anymore, it's all about what can you bring to the field, not what you have for farmers. And I will always say that Cal Mill has always had a bigger amount of farmers, unless the farmers did the whole like super push over to the next side and to flip the war zone type thing. Then Galmu would get a surge of farmers. But at the point that we're at right now, there is no surging back and forth on farmers. It's farmers who have like, I've got 12 algos, so no matter what, you know, if whatever side is going to take the battlefield and get me more LP for that side, always the offensive, I'm just going to join that side type kind of thing that's happening. But in general, it's all about who can you bring to the field to have fun and shoot each other, and it's pretty fucking even. It all depends on the time zone, what, you know, what's kind of going on for up shipping and stuff like that. But I would say that having observed, it's been healthier in the last year than it's ever been before. This is, you know, where fighting is happening. You know, people want to gather like 5 to 25 people together, and if you're 25 people and they're 5 people, they're gonna run away. But you get domination of that area. But that 5-person fleet can go over to another area of the war zone and all automatically have domination over that area, because 5 people is a lot of people in faction warfare that know what the fuck they're doing. Like,
it's like faction warfare. Like, it's another world basically. Like, it's another way of doing things. But
well, it's the forever
how did you
war.
guys find when they brought in the pirate factions? Like, obviously, there's only 2 of them at the moment. There's another 2 still to come in. But how did you find the dynamic change with pirate factions coming in to the fight?
So as Galmill, I will say that it's never, whenever it has affected us, we've won the war zone upper hand, you know, handedly, usually against, like, if it comes to like near Galmill space, there's not a whole bunch of it that we have, but when it comes into our space, we usually just dealt with it very quickly and efficiently. I would say that Nenemelia is probably what's kind of going on right now in Nenemelia is like a back and forth kind of thing. Oh, and real quick about farmers versus, like, Calmill's always been bigger on farmers, but we've always had a dedicated PvP group, because you're the underdog, so you're the only people you're attracting is people that want to fucking kill shit. So when it's over in Calmill space, they deal with farmers, and the farmers are like, I don't want to deal with this. I'm just gonna go farm in faction warfare regular. I don't need to farm your sites, and if I was going to farm your sites, I would farm it for, you know, Garistas or Angels. So the farmers versus farmers doesn't happen. You're either an Angel farmer in the war zone of the pirate area, or you're not a farmer, basically, because it's much better to be on the pirate side of farming. But when they come to Galmill space, they come up against a bunch of people who do want to PvP, and so we've definitely had really good success on winning the war zone against them, when normally they win up, you know, without any kind of problems. Handedly, they're winning this, you know, war zone. But we don't see them a lot, is the thing. Is because until the recent change where they're making it so that it's much more likely to spawn near a front line, that I think will help with it. But overall, there's no, like, reason for us to give a fuck if it's, you know, in Kaldari space, fucking with Kaldari's backline systems. First of all, we can't dock there, so who gives a fuck about that space, right? You know, like, let's go push the war zone. A lot of the times it was a big the idea of like, who gives a shit about this area? Let's go push this area. and the South has not been hit by these pirate incursions very much. Other than that, though, I find it interesting. I think it adds to the war zone. It adds to the back line, too, a little bit. There's a whole other thing for you to do. I think that the militias need to get paid out better because their LP is worth less. And there needs to be a look into AWOXing a little bit more. That AWOXing should not... this should be a little bit more regulated. This should be the area that's more regulated by CCP than any other area in the game.
AWOXing in faction warfare?
Right. I don't know how to exactly look at it, but it's... faction warfare, especially on the pirate side, the pirates are AWOXing each other like crazy. And because they have a lot lower requirement to getting kicked out of of the angels, you got to be like negative 5 or 8 or something like that. It's like you can shoot each other a whole bunch more, and then you can build a corp around keeping people inside of inside of the angels a lot easier than the 0.1 requirement for Galente or Keldari or anything like that. So there is more. We do see a lot of frat people are just pushing the envelope on AWOXing in that arena, and I think that needs to be looked into to a certain degree. Needs to be, because it's really rough when you're trying to have an open area for everybody and be like, okay, come in and join up faction warfare, team up with somebody, and then your teammate starts punching you and you don't even get to see them.
Couldn't they do a thing where if people are AWOXing internally within faction warfare, that they get kicked out of the militia? So say there's 5 lost males from internal blue militia, that you say, okay, you're now banned from militia for 6 months, sort of thing,
But there's usually something that might come around. Okay, so I've shot people before because I'm in Abazon, and we have Sedition come in, and I'm part of Spectre Fleet, and so I end up accidentally getting a broadcast for somebody that shoots, and I take a little bit of a standings loss. That's fine. I'll deal with that, and that can hurt to a certain degree, but it can be really nasty if it's all of a sudden 5 strikes and you're out, and I get into a fleet fight and I shoot accidentally 5 Sedition people because I'm part of a neutral fleet that has nothing to do with faction warfare. I'm not blue fucking anybody at this point. If somebody called me, then I would be getting shot just as bad. But there is a certain level of how much can CCP enforce special rules above normal what they put in for AWOXing, which is basically you will get kicked out because eventually your Galente standings or whatever standings you have will get below the minimal requirements, and if you're enlisted you'll just get kicked out. If you're part of a corporation, that corporation has to maintain its standings. So if you have a -10, you need to have a +10, which +10 is way harder to get than a -10. So there is some work that is involved in a corporation maintaining themselves in an AWOXing positive position. It's not that big of an issue for a lot of us. Right now we have one Grozer or something like that. What's his? Do you know what his name is? Nightflyer? Is it Grozer?
If you wouldn't have said that, I probably could have figured out one of the thoughts in my head.
But so we have one dude, right, who is kind of annoying, but he's -10, so it's easy you can shoot him without any problems. But there's the one thing that I have heard that I thought was really a good one though was the ability to war deck. If you're in faction warfare, you should have the ability, if your corporation's part of faction warfare, anybody should have the ability to war deck you without needing to have a structure type kind of thing. And then that makes it so that there can be some civil wars that can kind of happen inside of faction warfare.
I kind of get that, but then I suppose you could argue the case that in faction warfare, you have systems that you can take from each other, and so that's how you fight that war. If you
Well,
were
the
to
war
force
deck
people to have-
is from Galente to Galente. So I'm seeing that your corporation's being a dick. I should be able to war deck you and make it so I don't have standings problems anymore for shooting you. And you don't have standings problems for shooting me either. And you show up as a war target, not as a militia member.
I get that. I think that would cause some bigger issues, in the longer term. I think,
But this would only be if your corporation is faction warfare. Not if, like, Frat wouldn't be a faction warfare corporation. You can still enlist. But if your corporation is harboring AWOXers, there needs to be a way to label you as AWOXers and go after you. And right now, there is not a way to do that.
well, I'm pretty sure that in Minmill, I can't remember the exact name of the alliance or corp, but it's Wave something, New Wave or some crap like that. I don't know. I can remember. But I'm pretty sure they had a bit of a bad rep for, because they weren't part of the main militia groups that I was in, but they were still in the same faction. Like, say you had your alt coming through the system, and you'd be like, "Hey, dude, there's one of my alts. Just let him go," and they'd be like, "Nope, fuck off. He's not in faction warfare. He's dead." Like that kind of thing. Like, but on the flip side of that, if you're in faction warfare in a corporation, and you're bringing your neutral alts to come in and kill people, like that's frowned upon. It's not. Really...
Yeah, but that is different than AWOXing. That is close to AWOXing. It's getting there actually to AWOXing, especially since you're healthy, if it's your alt or something like that, or a buddy or whatever. But the one biggest problem that AWOXing brings to the table is that you don't get to see your enemy at all. You get to see a neutral at least. When a neutral comes in, you can be like, they're fucking neutral. I need to get the fuck out of here, or I'm going to fight the neutral. But if you're blue, if you're militia, and you're not showing up on the overview at all, and then you're starting to get attacked, like that's seconds of reaction time that's like deleted from, and even possibly the entire fight if you're new and you're like, I have no fucking clue what's happening right now. Why am I being attacked by, like, how am I getting all this damage on me? I don't see anything here to shoot me, because they're looking at their overview, which their overview will have that person not even show up. There's a lot of possibilities of AWOXing being really detrimental to, like, just the being able to play in faction warfare in general. And I haven't encountered this very much, even with my -10 status that I've held for a long time. I normally don't have issues with people shooting me with AWOXing, but I'm also part of the organization that is the underdogs, that we don't have as many people that give a fuck about AWOXing us, because we don't have as many farmers. And if you want to go on an AWOXing spree, you go join fucking Kaldari, and that's where you get some AWOXing done. Like, there are tons of farmers out there for you to, like, trick with your oh, I'm a buddy of yours, don't worry. I'll help you out here. But yeah, so what are some of the things that you are currently up to right now? So you've got your stream that's going on. You said that you're going to Eve London.
The project at the moment is we've been expanding our industrial center. We've been pushing that. We want to have, like, the ability for people to do mining over, like, a 7-day period. With the structures that we have up front. We have, like, I think something like 13 structures in total. I think 8 structures. No, wait a minute. It'd be 1, 2, 3. Yes, 3 of those ones and 8 of those. There's 11 structures up at the moment. So there's 4 of them that pop on a Friday night, and then another 4 that pop on a Monday evening. And so that basically means that, like, Monday morning to Monday evening, there's nothing, but then from Monday through to, like, Wednesday evening, there's something. And then from Wednesday evening pushing into Thursday, there's a bit of a lull. and Friday there's something back on the field and ready to go for the whole weekend. Like that's kind of the project at the moment, is to make that work. And then after that, I really don't know. I don't know what's next on the project parts. Like I would like, I think in the longer term, to kind of do something in nullsec with looking at how much we can make with the fleet sizes that I can field with my alts, mining in nullsec to see how that unfolds. That would be something I'd like to kind of look into, that kind of field.
You don't have any PvP projects currently going, just general.
Well, like the other thing we have is we've obviously, not obviously, but we've moved a lot of Black Ops stuff. Like, so alliance-wise, we're going to push Black Ops. It's going to be operating out of a Mars space, which is kind of good because it probably means we're going to kill Marians. Always look on the bright side. So like we have a lot of like Black Ops battleships in position, ready to go. We've got bomber fleets that we're trying to run, yeah, it's just kind of hopefully like we're not looking at like bomber spar or anything like that. We're very new, and we're just kind of piecing it together. We did our first bombers fleet thing the other week with Cephis and Steel Drifter, Magical Geek, and Co. Like doing all their kind of stuff. It was really cool. And I was just doing bridging and jumping in with the bridge clubs to get the guys back out.
Oh, cool! Yeah.
So yeah, like that's kind of like the PvP side is Black Ops, because we can kind of dictate terms with that, and the industrial side is doing something that is quite easy to get into. You just log in, jump on your ship. You know, that passive income.
Right.
Where you just warp to the moon, start mining your shit. It's not like going to an asteroid belt with feldspar that after 2 cycles you're like, rock is depleted, and you have to go to the next one and the next one, and you're like, fuck off, I hate micromanaging this shit. So yeah, it kind of works. It's like it allows you a little bit of is making, but also it gives us something to do with it.
Very nice. So if somebody tunes into your streams right now, what are some of the things that they would be seeing?
Well, like, that's a very good question. So sometimes they might see, like, sharks.
Oh, sharks! Yeah.
And, this is, you guys have obviously a magical geek already. This was brought in for what I think it's 1,000 follower goal celebration stream, and we got Magic as the special guest, and we played Baby Shark, and we had the shark, and we had the blow up shark outfit, and it was fucking awesome. And we just mentioned a second ago about the Lost Cowboy. So Lost Cowboy, like he rated me a couple of days ago, and like we do a lot of collaboration work. It's fantastic. He does a lot of community stuff. And so when he raided into me, I had this thing standing. Here we go. Give me 2 seconds here.
All right. Oh!
Like we just take it to the next level. So let's get rid of that there. So yeah, like it's basically we like to have a bit of fun. We want people to enjoy themselves. We want to come in, enjoy the content that we're doing, and we love doing giveaways. We never ask, like, so let me be clear. We don't ask for subs, we don't ask for donations, but if they're given, that it's great. It helps the stream, and it helps us to provide those giveaways that we do time and time again. So in a way, it is kind of a giveaway stream in that sense, but it's not, like, I'm more interested in content than I am giveaways.
Right,
but
yeah.
The viewers like their giveaways, so like you gotta give the people what they want, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, like basically from any stream from one day to the next, basically I will log in, we'll look at what's happening, we'll see if there's any projects going on, like with Walsh's thing with PvP, we might be looking at that kind of content. I might just decide, you know what, I want to get into an Execure and go try and pull a bait and see if somebody picks a fight with my Tech 1 lodging ship and I can kill them. It might be that I want to move around my jump freighter and be like, guys, we're going to stream moving stuff in stations and moving jump freighters and jumping into low sec. A couple of days ago, we moved Carrier and we streamed it, the whole thing, like no intel coverage. Like everything was visible on screen, and like I'm a huge proponent of that. I think it's really important to show people everything.
Right.
Show them exactly what's happening. Show them how it's going down. See the why it's happening. Why we're worried. Why we're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. You know, like it adds character. And a lot of those people that are like doing what I did for 2 years, that are just watching Twitch and being like, oh my god, I missed the game. You know, like they get to see me like doing this shit, and they're like, oh my fucking god, I remember that. Oh. And then they're like, dude, I need to relog into this game. I'm downloading it again. You know, like that's what you want. Like you want a little bit of fun, a little bit of education, and like a lot of community. Is kind of my view.
Absolutely.
I think that's the best way
So Nightflyer, did you have any questions for Streamdrb?
Not necessarily questions. We talked a lot off stream already, and he's kind of, and again, we had to change our times a little bit because of the time difference between where we are and where he's at. So I just want to make sure he's still got a few extra minutes here, and we can do our giveaway.
We're good.
And wrap stuff up. But just like you said, what we talked about is, like much like you, the reason we do this stream is that we enjoy playing Eve Online specifically. And we want to kind of share that with people. We want to talk with other people that are creators about this game, and again, kind of exposing that. When I got into Eve, one of the things that I came in during COVID, so it was one of those things. I was spending a lot of time alone. I was working midnights. My family was asleep, so I was looking for something to do. And it was a lot of the streamers at that time. That was kind of my connection to, real people during that time. And a lot of those guys have kind of moved on. Their lives have changed. Their streams have changed. They just don't do it. So I'm always kind of on the lookout for other people that are, again, like this game, enjoy this game, and want to share, their thoughts, their feelings, their activity with other people. And so I do appreciate you coming on and talking about yourself and, your personal thoughts and feelings of this game. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Like, I tried not to swear too much.
Yeah, we're not
It
worried
happens.
about that.
Hey, when you have passion about something, it gets.
That's what swear words are for.
I think one thing I'll maybe mention is like I don't just look at what we do here on Twitch. I sometimes pose questions on like EVE Online forums online and stuff like that. And I asked the question about, hey guys, like in Facebook on the EVE Online page, I'm like, what current like EVE Online like influencers you guys like watching on Twitch? And like one of the first responses I got was, what about the YouTubers? Right? Like, fuck off. Like there's some amazing live YouTubers as well. But one of the things that somebody said was like, we don't have any faction warfare heroes. Now, like, I know there is, and what I responded with at the time was, yeah, but you have people like Magical Geek who's doing faction warfare PvP in like Dalmill and I think in Marmill, possibly. I think he's in both.
Yeah.
Traitorous bastard. Fucking flying for a mark. Like I couldn't go. I think I did put an alt into this for like 10 seconds, and then I got like rashes and shit and had to leave. Like because of the MR fucking dust. But basically, like, you guys have been around doing the anti-faction warfare for a long time. But like, there's nobody really streaming anything about min-mill faction warfare. I know Wari, a really good guy, fantastic person, does faction warfare. Normally with a militia when I first knew him, and he watched a lot of the streams. But I would really love to see more people like yourselves coming into the fray, going, guys, okay, this is what we're doing. We're doing small gang PvP, like hyping it up. And just getting out there and having fun. Like, obviously, I was watching you guys stream earlier on, and like the only thing I kind of picked up on was like, you guys were communicating great, but the people couldn't hear you.
Yeah, that was something that I hopefully have fixed. So.
Fantastic, because like obviously I was streaming, I was watching you guys like peripheral, that word, right? You know what I mean? And he come in and he asked a question about faction warfare, and I could have answered it in my own terms, but then I thought, you know what? Like, I'm gonna pass them on to you guys because you guys are the faction warfare guys. You guys are the guys that are there doing it day in, day out, and who better to give an explanation of faction warfare than yourself? And so he obviously jumped in. He has the conversation. I think he kind of got the response he was looking for, and he said he would speak to you guys later on or something. But that was really cool. And that's where I think like it's not just about me. It's about the community. It's about making sure that if you got people promoting faction warfare, I don't care if it's them promoting Amar, promoting Calmill, promoting Galmill, promoting Minmill. Of course, I want them to do Minmill more often, but I kind of like, I was born Galanti, so I have a place in my heart for supporting the Galanti militia as well. So yeah, like it is what it is. But I would like to see like you guys streaming more often. Obviously, you guys are in the USTZ.
Yeah.
But I also like to see more faction warfare stuff from people like Magical Geek, which he gets a really good following from. And hopefully, if there's anybody else that's watching this right now that's listening to us, if you guys are interested in streaming and you want to get into teaching people about faction warfare, you want to take the fight to the front line, and if you've got that charisma and drive and you think you can make that happen, guys, do it. Seriously, fucking do it. So yeah, like,
Absolutely.
Well, the thing I have to grasp is I see guys like you did like 9 hours today, and there's no way I could do that. And especially if I'm trying to be entertaining, which is the hardest part, I think, because I don't know shit. Because you have to know one of two things: you either have to be very entertaining, or you have to know shit. And I don't think I'm that entertaining. I've got a good one-liner every once in a while, but yeah, I mean, I kind of like you. I know a little bit about several things, but I'm not an expert at any of them. So I think it'd be hard for me to stream, but as it's been pushed out to me, I was talking with Magic Geek too. He's like, well, what if you did like an hour stream every other week? Like, wouldn't that be enough? I mean, you want to create, you want to be out there. You want to hone that skill. I said, you don't have to do a 9-hour stream. You don't have to do a 24-hour stream. Go out, do an hour, play an hour, do a 45-minute. Hey, here's me sitting in a couple of plexes for a little bit, talking shit. And then,
the thing is, like, see your initial going into streaming and stuff, like, it's not always just about doing that big fucking huge constant fucking streams, because like when you first start streaming you should do short and effective, right? Obviously you want to be recognized, you want to be known, you want people to see you online, but
yeah, I mean, I would like that, but that's not my driving goal.
Yeah, like it's about teaching the game, right? So you guys love faction warfare.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so like you get some people that when they stream they do episodes, right? So you could do like this is just like a thing, right? And you probably looked into it anyway. But you could do like a thing where you do like special 1-hour stream looking at faction warfare and LP management and what stuff to buy this week in faction warfare LP. You know, like that kind of thing, right? Where you're looking at the farms, you're looking at what they're doing, you're looking at. And then you could do a thing where you're looking at like a stream where like you're looking at the war zone and you're like, hey guys, oh my god, frontline report, shit's been going down in Galmill today. There's been a system taken over. We're gonna go over there on the shuttle. We're gonna investigate or a Black Ops ship. Oh my god, look at these horrible bastards. They're in fucking these ships. They're flying around. They're stealing our fucking shit. You know, like that kind of stuff, like where you turn it into something that's exciting, it's energized, and you don't need. It's telling the story of what's happening in these battlefields, getting people infused, going, dude, I want to do that. I want to take that system off them. Like, fuck those people. You know, like that kind of thing. Like, it's not easy though. It isn't easy. But yeah, like that to me, like, is a kind of thing. Like, if you have the time and you have the want, like you guys are great on cam. Like, it's just about putting the content and really infusing like the lore, if you will, of faction warfare. Like, there's a lot of people out there that love the lore. Like Oshra Khan, like those guys, like in there, like that key group of guys in leadership, and a lot of the line guys as well. Like, they love the lore there. Like, they've been living the lore for so fucking long. Like, when they do, like, meetings with like the coalitions between Galmill and Minmill, and they sit and they do proper, you know, like discussions with the councils and shit, and it's like it's fucking brilliant. The roleplay is insane. Like that kind of stuff. Necromancer? Oh my god, what the fuck? I just see.
Yeah, they're starting up a little boss battle here.
Oh, okay.
They're gonna fight some kind of monster in. Looks like it's a Rathaslor, some kind of fucking Drake thing.
Fantastic. But yeah, a lot of people think, oh, it's low sec. There's not that much action. There is. There's fucking loads of action. And if we can show people that there's people there, that there's people like doing these sites, there's farmers, that there's PvPers, and that it's possible to go in and have a fight. Like today, my first engagement was a destroyer, and I was in a frigate, and we won. And it was like, oh my.
Yeah, that's
God,
epic, man.
Like, you know, it was fucking super cool. So yeah, like that's kind of my viewpoint on future streams and what other people can do. Like I know like there's a guy right now called I know his name. He rated me earlier. Switch It Games. Now, Switch It, he doesn't have a lot of internal confidence. At least that's what it comes across as. But his content is really good, and he has some great ideas. He always wants to collaborate with people, but then if people don't collaborate quite so quickly back in return, he thinks that, you know, he's doing something wrong, or he's like, you know, his confidence levels are not for some reason, and I don't know why. But he's been doing like wormhole streaming, and a lot of people don't do it because wormholes is like, OPSEC, what if you see the entry hole, blah 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 blah.
OPSEC is so hurtful to streaming in Eve.
Oh man, like one thing I love is that I don't do OPSEC because I want people to see. Like I have my camera up in the top left, so you don't see the system name that I'm in. But there's about 6 other locations you can see where I'm at.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not hiding it. Like I'm just making it a little bit more difficult. You know.
Right.
Like,
yeah. You need to spend more than 2 seconds looking at Mystery.
But yeah, like you guys could definitely be like, you know, the next heroes faction warfare, you know, doing frontline reports on the actual battlefield, going in, and it could be a quick hour thing. Like so, like 10 minutes before you go in, you look at what's changed, what systems are higher on the tier of percentages, which are lower, you know, and hopefully like that'll allow people within the community, within the Galmill community, or even the Calmill community, to go ahead and look at that report and be like, oh, we missed that system. Oh shit, we better go back and get that. They're about to take it. You know, like and hopefully you get some people that are not doing faction warfare to go, oh, that's kind of cool. Like, wow, Galmo's got a really active community. We should go there. You know, that would bolster your numbers.
Absolutely.
Like that's just my humble opinion.
Absolutely. So we are running up on time here to a certain degree. I mean, normally we only go about an hour, but we wanted to extend the interview a little bit here because this has been pretty solid here. But one thing that we want to do before we wrap up for sure is, do you have any shout-outs that you want to give, or are there any projects that you're currently working
on? Like obviously I want to give a shout out to CCP for having an amazing game. They do good. The game's been around for 20 years, and it allows us as content creators and other people like the community that's here watching us right now to actually be able to communicate and talk about this wonderful game. So CCP, thank you very much. Also, I'd like to thank Magical Geek for recommending me to you guys to come and have this conversation. And I want to thank like people like the Welsh Style Boys, Seffies, and all that kind of stuff that do a huge amount of work in the background. You know, working with the community and making things happen. But most of all, guys, I want to thank you for your time and for having me here on the show and doing this interview.
It's been great having you, definitely. And so you do stream. Is there any specific times that you do streaming? Do you have like a set schedule, or are you kind of random?
I posted a schedule, but I don't keep to it because I'm fucking useless. Like it's
Well,
a
apparently
hard,
you have a real life outside of Eve, which I guess people do. I mean, I don't know.
like
I've been told.
I just work constantly. Like I sometimes 70 hours a week at work. And finding the time to do streaming as well is tough. The one thing I found really tough about that though, like 1900 hours, by the way, is the answer to the question. GMT is normally when I go live, and I'm normally offline by 2200 hours, which only kind of gives me like 19 to 22, 19 to 22. It's like
Give or
3
take,
hours.
or the one. Let me take my shoe off. 3. There you go.
Yeah,
3 hours.
it's not enough time. You know, like if you're doing like, because obviously I'm pushing for your partner and stuff, you're all about the numbers. And so like your first hour streaming, and all the guys here that are streamers, they'll understand Boom Wolf, Welsh Bellboy, etc., etc. Mixed Elf there as well, Eve Minor 01, and yourselves. You'll understand that first hour streaming, you're building up.
Yeah.
And so the first kind of like half an hour, you might have 10 people watching. And then like after that, like people might finish the dinner and they come in like, oh, they're online, and they'll kind of like, oh my god, so go up to 20. And they'll hover at 20 till about an hour to an hour and a half, 2 hours pushing in, and you're like, oh my god, we're doing good, we got 20 people. But if you're pushing for things like partner or Twitch partner, you're needing an average across the entire stream of 40 minimum, and then 75 if you're looking for Twitch. And that's hard. That's really fucking hard, especially if you're doing short streams. Because a lot of times guys will be like, oh my god, I need a raid. We're gonna need somebody to raid me to boost my numbers so that I've got the average. Like, because that first hour block is hard. Like, one of the things we did on my stream, and a couple of other people did as well, like XD8859 I think it is we do early bird giveaways. And that then kind of encourages the viewers, you know, guys, to come in that little bit earlier to help with that bolster, because it's so fucking hard. And you know, people will be watching on the streams, they'll be chilling out, they'll be like, I'm not in a rush, and when they get the notification like, oh, he's live, I'll go in and check him out in an hour when he's doing more giveaways, right? And so what we did is we were like, okay, let's give them incentive to come in early, and it works. You know, to a degree, like not overly, but it definitely works. Like people like
yeah, I could see how that would, you know, definitely encourage earlier, you know, participation and wanting to join in, so.
But yeah, no, 1900 hours. I try to do Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and then if I have the time, I'll do Saturday and Sunday as well. But I normally work Saturday or Sunday, so it'll be one in the evening and one during the day. So today we did during the day, and then again here now at night. And then yesterday I streamed last night, and it was
I do a lot of painting miniatures and stuff as my non-Eve hobby, and so I had you kind of on the background while I was doing that. And again, I really enjoyed it. I'm like, oh, I'm glad we're having this guy come on because he can talk. And,
yeah.
And I got you have those guests that you do have come on. You really got to like prize stuff out of them. I'm like, oh, we're not gonna have any problems with this guy. Cool.
No.
So.
No. I tried to like give you guys a chance. Welsh Doughboy is like, oh no, Streamdrb's in comms. That's it, game over. But yeah, like, guys, honestly, if you're looking for an interview from another perspective and not so much PvP, keep your man to speak. I
awesome.
like him. He's cool. Like, he's a very busy guy, like all of us, work-wise in that. But
yeah, we'll have to just figure out a time, and so I think we're gonna go ahead and do this giveaway here that we have. So we got marbles that we're going to be running for the giveaway here. If you want to get in on this, there's !join. It's a 1 billion-ish giveaway. !play. Sorry, I apologize. !play.
Guys, play.
No, sorry. !play. So look at everybody's listening to us properly. That's funny.
I'm getting in on this. Like,
oh, you gotta get on it, yeah.
Oh, fuck yeah. So yeah, and guys, thank you very much. Like, there's 80 people watching right That
No,
is
that's-
fucking brilliant.
Yeah, no, for an interview, this is really solid. You know, it's people. This is one of our most watched interviews live.
Someone is,
That's
of
for
course
sure.
we're listening.
I said we're always.
Boy says he's happy to set up a time, guys.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, we're always open to interviews. Like, I wasn't a streamer at all. I didn't do anything in game except play and liked playing. But I met Frozen in real life, and we got talking, online, and I came on the show. So, I mean, if you think that you have something to contribute to this game and would like to come on for an interview,
Yeah, we're it's very
just reach out to us. I mean, if
we're
we
very
can
much just trying to
schedule-
learn what got you into this game and why do you still play it, you know? And that's huge. So we've got 24 people in on the giveaway already, so I'm gonna give it just a little bit longer here, !play, in order to get in on that giveaway.
And Mortal Kombat is like, dance, bitch, dance.
Well, Moonwolf, even if you don't have anything to contribute, if you just like to hear yourself talk and you'd like to be Eve famous for
say
for
something.
an hour.
Get your
Guys,
2 minutes of fame.
I know Moonwolf pretty well, right? He's also an Eve partner. He's a fucking awesome streamer.
Well, there you go. So he's
like,
already famous.
He undersells himself time and time again. But I tell you, I swear to God, like he joined us like Alliance. Like he was with Snot, which was Magical Geeks Alliance.
I heard they're a
Then
cult.
went to Nullsec. Yeah, they are a cult. Oh, you fucking horrible cultish motherfucker. And Amar scum. So yeah, like he was with them, and obviously he realized that they were like horrible, and they had hairy backs, and they were Amarian supporters. So he had to leave, right? So we went to Nullsec, and he joined a group called the Wolf Pack, because he wanted to try out something new. He's just come back to HiSec. He's currently doing his own thing. He's his own CEO in his own corporation, managing his own shit, which allows him to focus more on the stream and not so much about rules and regulations of alliances and corporations. But that guy is amazing at HiSec Combat Expo. Like, if you guys are aware of mining barges, like the NPC ones, like the haulers, like he has a way of killing them, and you get fucking faction mining or modules from ships, pins and stuff like that. Like he does the content that nobody else thinks of. Like you get like 10 people doing exploit, you get 20 people doing PvP, you get 2 or 3 people doing more space, you get 1 or 2 people doing business, right? This guy's like, fuck you all, I'm not doing any of that. I'm killing an NPC hauler. You're like, what the fuck? But it works, and I swear to God, it's fucking brilliant. Like the stuff he comes up with, his PvP fit earlier on, in faction warfare space, in mid-mill space there. Oh, dude, it was nasty, bro. It was Cormorant, not Cormorant, the Amarian destroyer. Coercer. It was a Coercer with 4 guns and 3 newts. 4 guns and 3 newts.
Okay.
It was a 48 million-esque fucking destroyer. But I went in there, my little Punisher, to fight him, but not fight him, but like, we went in and we yellow boxed each other and we like, we started each other, like, kind of like, puffed our chests out. And then he pointed me, I tried to shoot him, and then I was neutered out. And he felt sorry for me, so he let me survive. So that was cool. But he honestly, like, he sees the game differently to what I do, and it's fucking brilliant. It's really riveting and exciting. Here we go.
Yeah, and Moonwolf
ahead.
was saying that there's a lot of stuff to experience in HiSec with the single account, even as an alpha. You may not get you can get some really good reward, but even if you don't get the good reward, there's a lot of cool shit to do, like just going and checking out the Eve Gate, that exists, and stuff like that. But yeah, hacking is cool. Like, there's a lot of good little shit in this game. But I think we got 25 people in on the giveaway here, so I'm gonna go ahead and run it here since we are getting a little bit close here on time. So we're almost 2 hours in. 2-hour interview, it's always solid. You know, you had fun during that interview. And all right, so we are off into the races here, and you know, a little bit of a slow start here. People kind of just popping off, getting down. So now we know. Ooh, Selminus is way ahead right here. Looks like, but there's, you know, different stuff kind of going on. Where they're going back up. Oh no, they're going back up.
Have I died yet? I haven't died yet.
I always found out, like, I tried using marbles for giveaway, but I found it really took a strain on the computer.
Oh really? Yeah, I seem to be doing fine with it so far. I haven't had any problems with it. Selvik in the
Last we're through there.
Oh, look
Frontier.
at 1627 coming in behind him though.
Yep, and then Eve Miner right behind there, then Night Flyer, then Saint Disaster.
Is anybody, like, I think we should tell Eve Miner to go see a doctor. He's got a black ball.
Yeah, it seems to be like some people have different balls in this game. I don't know how to do that. Maybe you can bribe the owners of the game. Look, that guy's got like a fucking car. That's not fair. Like, his car has got to be faster than a ball.
Off your car, man.
Yeah, what the fuck? He's
Zanetta is with a car, guys. He's coming in.
Saint Disaster here in first. Doesn't have a car, but you know, looking pretty good. Night Flyer right behind him.
He's slowing down. I think that Nighthawk or something.
Night Flyer.
Night Flyer. Here we go.
Oh, yep. No, look at that. Night Flyer's ahead now, but Savick is in the lead, looking pretty good, I think, right now.
Oh my god, he's pushing right down there.
Totally got caught up in toilet bowl.
Okay, wait a minute. He's gonna be jumping down there into that big red
There we
spade.
go.
Okay,
There we go.
Oh wow.
Did it really good.
Oh, wait. He's still in. Oh my god, is he?
Where are we? It doesn't know
What
because
happened?
everybody's like all like in different areas of this thing. Okay,
Yeah,
Selvik is
Eve
still, I
Miner
think,
was,
still
like,
in first.
active.
Looking pretty good. Selvik
Oh.
is in first. Yep. Nope. Here's the end right here.
I think he's comfortably in first here. I don't think there's any.
Bam. Oh, there was
Can he miss the mole?
he's in.
All right.
No.
So Savick,
Just won it. Risty 1627, a very close second there.
Risty was right behind. So, if you do exclamation point in-game name ing, then you should see what happens here with me if you've registered that, or you do that and then you put the name. Aha, Savick, Dr. Holin. No problems. All right, we've got 1 billion ISK that's going to you. And we'll do that right here on stream here.
I'm gonna
So
go
just
ahead
make
and
sure-
send you another 200 million, and then the second and third place can get 100 million each.
All right, I'll match you on that too.
There we go. There we go. There's
All
another
right.
200 million.
So we do know. So if Risty and Nookie, you got to get those guys to give us their names here. So Risty immediately jumped in on that. You're gonna get
Oh,
200
yeah.
million
Look
is.
at that, Nookie's in there too.
And so let's do.
That's a lot of ammo you can buy with that kind of money. It's like it's real money
Right.
now.
All right, so now we can close out of this.
I
And
remember
so
when I got like my first real big payday when I was like still just coming out of alpha, or you're still that tier 1 player, and you're like, I'm gonna buy and use faction ammo in my ships. And it was like that's like your game changer. I'm like, oh, I got T1 guns, but I got faction ammo.
all right, 1 billion ISK to Dr. Holin. Is that correct? Let's make sure that that's correct here. I think that that's correct. So I'll wait just a little bit longer. Oh no.
Oh, I felt so bummed. Like pre-stream, I was like running around like a madman. I went to
All
a soccer
right.
game last night, as you guys call football over there, and They were giving away flag nights. I live outside Chicago, and we've got like a huge Mexican population. They literally bring them in by the bus loads. And so they're giving away, it's Mexican Heritage Appreciation. And so they're giving away flags. And so it was Chicago Fire flags with whatever. Anyway, I was all excited because you're a big flag guy.
Is that
we were
you?
talking flags the other night.
Nookie.
And so I was going to have my Chicago Fire flag in the back, and I could not find it. I don't know what my kid did with it. I think
They stole it.
He stole it.
Stole it.
I think we should find him, fuck him up, and sell it.
Give money. All right, so 200 million to you.
In all fairness, I think I told him last night that I'd probably throw it away. So if it even made it home, oh, it is. It's in his backseat of his car. Yeah.
All right, and then we've got one more 200 million is giveaway to. So that was to Risty, right? Yeah. Or no, that was.
Now the numbers.
Okay, now Risty. Okay, so then we got to give it to Risty.
To be fair though, it's still sitting at 68. It's fucking insane. Like the guys have been really amazing sticking around for this.
Yeah.
It's been a long day.
I appreciate listen to the show or just have us on in the background. You know, I think we're just here to kind of put out content about something we enjoy, and you know, we hope other people can enjoy it too. We actually had a lot of talks about that as a group. Samson, who couldn't be here this late, but you know, there's other games and stuff that you could stream where you would definitely get.
All right, Risty, just double checking. That's you.
I mean, if we wanted to talk about cosmetics, we could have, you know, thousands of viewers.
Yeah, like but, I'm needing some hair products, you know.
Awesome.
But I have like no interest in doing that. So.
Oh, Airy Hole has followed.
Awesome, thank you very much.
Thanks,
all right.
Oh, man. I'm loving the Zelda, guys. I'm loving the Zelda.
Absolutely. And thank you all for watching. Thank you all for you know, listening. And Streamdrb, thank you so much for coming on. This has been super awesome. And thank you for the donations to do some giveaways here, and that's been pretty cool. Very rarely will we ever do that, so it is you know, super badasses like you that push us to the next level of epicness. So we are gonna wrap things on up here, though. I have to go get my wife and pick her up from the hospital, god damn it, from the airport. She just got back from Japan. Super cool. Super excited to hear all about her adventures. So
yeah, I hope she actually got to do something, not just sitting in an office.
No, yeah, she got to go out. She got to go to like the you know, she got to go out in Tokyo. So
fun.
All right, thank you all. Have a great night.
Can I ask if you're raiding out, can we give them something to say to the person we're raiding into? Like it's something that I do.
Okay, yep.
And the reason we do this, right, is when people go over, like a lot of people just go in and sit there and look and be like, okay, what is this guy about? Like, and so what we do is we get them to say something funny. So when they go into the stream that you're raiding into, like it gives the viewers a chance to kind of hype it up, to do something something funny. And it also means that the person who's being raided isn't like, oh my god, it's all bots. Like, so it's a way of starting a conversation with no conversation. Like going in and just being like, oh my god, where's your dog? Or like, wow, you can't PvP, or like, you know, like it's got to be like whatever you guys think is basic. You guys can get the pick.
Yeah, I would say let's do yar, just a good old solid yar from everybody after we raid in. And do you have any suggestions? Let's see here. Who do we got?
If we got Arnicos, I've been enjoying his streams a lot lately.
What about Yar? We are boarding, or something like that.
We are boarding. Yeah, I like that. Yar, we are boarding. Yeah, Arnicos, we'll do that then. So we'll start that raid here. So we'll wait for it to kind of gather up the people. And
Anarchos, he's a solo PvPer guy, does a lot of good PvP.
Yeah, he's super cool.
Yeah, I like him. I've only seen
Yeah.
a couple of his streams, but I like what he's doing.
He's got the little voice generated response thing, the AI. Like, I think that's funny as shit.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much. God bless, and good night.
Good night.
Good night,
I'll stay
everybody.
till you guys are finished up.